in the world life.
Hello, Gillian on Topa. My name is Gregphina Pah. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Topo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
Wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
All right. Oh yeah, thank you so much to all of those who following the broadcast. This is how I like to say good morning to you, good evening, good afternoon, based on your geographical location. I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of the program Inside the Print Media. And today is September 6, 2023. We have just few days to go to the pool, which is October 10th of this year, where Liberians should be going to the pool. But however the case, I am playing the role as the lead host or the lead presenter on today's edition of the program Inside the Print Media, where we bring stories of all of the newspapers we able to lay our hands on within our country, and then we do a chit chats on the international scene, where we bring stories from the international media outlets. So today I'm going to be serving, and I'm already serving as the host today, and the regular guy you see always, which is Lyndon Tucker. He will also be here playing the role as the co-presenter, and we're going to drive you through up to 10:45 a.m. So keep watching, share the videos so that the video can reach to many people as it can. And we urge you to buy yourself copies of the newspaper we're going to be reading out today. We have the New Dawn, we have a Hot Pepper newspaper, we have the Daily Observer, and we also have Front Page Africa, and we will also be reading you stories from other media outlets, which of course is from the international scene. From the international scene, where we're going to be reading papers from these media outlets. So we have from the Daily Observer newspaper. The Daily Observer newspaper here says climate change induced flood. But before we go to that, let me welcome my colleague K. Lyndon Toba to the show. Lyndon, good morning, brother. How you doing?
I'm super great. It's very amazing to be here and doing the job that we are supposed to do, especially the 6th of September. It is indeed very amazing. Let me sir, you have just laid a very brilliant basic, and I think it is important for us to inform our people ahead of this crucial time.
Yeah, because our country is about to go to election October 10, and the country is year off. You have a lot of politicians. There are people who wants to unseat the Cuban president George Maria, and you have people who want to unseat the Cuban representatives and senators within our country. So almost everywhere you pass in our country, there is a heated political argument. People are conversing. But how be the case after we have read all of the papers, we will see our best to make some analysis on those stories from the various media outlets within our country.
Yeah, that's necessary. I think you just said it. You just hit the hammer on the head. So let's just proceed. Then after that, we can engage into a chit chat of national scene.
So, viewers, wherever you are following, this is the program Inside the Print Media, and our first stop going to be Daily Observer newspaper. We're going to make our first stop the Daily Observer newspaper. One of the stories here say climate change induced floods leave hundreds homeless. And another story here is can a political underdog? That is a question coming from Liberal National Union presidential candidate Dr. Clarence Moniba. He is asking a question: can a political underdog win Liberia's upcoming elections? Maserati County District number 9 and number 8 responds to UP rescue rally. Yeah, the Unity Party is on a campaign rally. And then another story here is 419 presidential candidates. 419 presidential candidates order arrested.
Wow,
That is
that's a
another.
very strong headline.
Yeah. So
Very
that is
strong.
another. Yeah. It seems to be like some guys are impersonating. It seems to be like NEC does not have a record on them. So from what we have here concerning the Daily Observer newspaper, we will read the first story here where climate change induced floods leave hundreds homeless. Heavy rainfall and devastating flooding have affected hundreds of Liberians across the country, up upending livelihoods, displacing hundreds from their homes, and decimating hundreds of hectares of farms in rural communities. Communities such as Newtown in Robertsport City, Gregphina County, Patawi, Robert Factory, Silver Compound, and Brooklyn communities in Bon County and others in Nimba and Mangibi counties have been severely impacted by the floods. This climate-related disaster is a repeat of the worst flooding cases that have been happening across the country in recent years. Many experts believe that the level of flooding that the country has experienced in recent years is climate change induced. The country is being impacted by coastal erosion and a rise in the level of the sea. These floods act as a misery multiplier and are the final straw for communities already struggling to survive. The National Disaster Management Agency is warning Liberians to brace themselves as the situation could worsen. The agency's weather bug predicts continued heavy rainfall throughout September 2023. The situation has been extremely devastating. A Liberian National Red Cross statement, which quotes its initial access report, said the heavy rainfall and subsequent flooding have caused significant damage to homes and infrastructure, displacing residents and leaving them in urgent need of support. The next story on the The next story here on Daily Observer is: can a political underdog, Dr. Clarence Moniba, wins upcoming elections? When Dr. Clarence Moniba announced his presidential bid, and many downplayed the threat, his campaign would pose to the political establishment. But the 44 years old, whose name was something most voters has heard of before, is now swelling in popularity as he blankets the country's most populated counties, selling his new Liberia vision, which borders on populism. For the last few weeks since the campaign opened on August 5, voters in Nimba, Grenjida, Bassa, and Lofa counties, all places that Moniba has recently visited, have begun to discuss his candidacy. I think that Moniba has a really good suit at the presidency. He is highly intelligent and knows how to get his message across, said Akoy Jana, a working class voter from Vote Rich Lofa County, which is the fifth largest voting bloc in the country. Also, he plans to implement an agriculture policy aimed at making the country self-sufficient in food production, including rice, its staple food, as well as the educational policy that ensures that all high school graduates have an income generation trade skill set upon graduation. According to Moniba, introducing these and other policies will lead to the creation of a large middle class, which he says Liberia needs, since productive or skillful workers will earn higher wages. We move to the New Dawn newspaper. This is another stop we're going to make to the New Dawn newspaper. One of the stories here on the New Dawn newspaper is Monsirado District number 9 and number 10 response to Unity Party rescue rally. So let's see what is here in detail. Monsirado County District number 9 and number 10 overwhelmingly responded to opposition United Party's standard bearer Ambassador Joseph Numa Boyka rescue campaign rally on Tuesday, September 5, 2023. The rescue rally appears to have attracted thousands of supporters of the former ruling UP sympathizers and well-wishers. The rally was held at the Old Susan Berry School football field and brought together supporters from both districts who danced to campaign music and shouted pre-victory slogans. Addressing the gathering, former Vice President Boyka extolled the districts for the huge turnout and expressed optimism of a resounding one-round victory. Former Vice President Boyka promised to beat incumbent President George Manuel face down with a one-round resounding victory because he has failed the Liberian people and the people have decided to overwhelmingly reject him. Boyka, who has repeatedly said that the Ellen Johnson regime in which he served as vice president squandered opportunities, has vowed to audit the rear and prosecute members of the administration for corruption if elected president comes October 10, 2023. He has showed that under his leadership, Liberians will live better lives because he will lobby and ensure that they are given better paying jobs through the attraction of investment. At the same time, Mr. Boyka also cautioned lawmakers that there will be no brown envelopes under his administration, urging them to be one of transparent and accountable leadership. My leadership will not condone any brown envelopes bribe. I am warning lawmakers that if you will need a brown envelope before doing the Liberian people's job, then do not be elected because I will not be your president. This country will change for the betterment and of all of us, and it will begin with the horse by discouraging brown envelope, he concluded. And another story on this newspaper also says 419 presidential candidates order arrested. The electoral magistrate of Upper Nima County, Milton Pay, has instructed police in Sanikole to arrest and bring to justice two presidential candidates from the Poor People Party whose photos have been placed on walls at various public places in the county. According to Magistrate P, the National Elections Commission qualified only 20 presidential candidates, not 21, and the PPP wants the public to believe. A letter from the National Election Commission reads, as you may be informed, the nomination process of the 2023 general and presidential elections is over with a total of 20 presidential candidates in the presidential category of the elections. According to Magistrate Pay, the NEC is ready to conduct free and credible elections comes October 10. Meanwhile, police in Nima County have arrested and charged two persons for recent violence in electoral district number 4 that led to one death. Nima County Nima County Police Commander Dixon P. Kemuka says the recent incident that occurred in Seoul Venyele Gay Town was not politically motivated or an electoral matter, but rather confusion ensued among residents that lead to the death of one person. This is the last story we have here for. This is the last story we have here for the New Dawn newspaper. So we will switch to Linda K. Topa, and then you will bring us to speak as it relates to Front Page Africa. What do you have for Front Page Africa?
All right, thank you, Mo, for leading the basis. Front Page Africa news. Illicit influence of Liberian diplomatic passport continues to plague Biya-led administration. In September 2020, the then Secretary of the State of the United States of America designated Andrew Wamplode, who was then Liberian Director for Passport and Visa, for his alleged involvement into a passport fraud that undermined the rule of law and reduced the Liberian public faith in their government management of identification and travel documents, and compromised the integrity and security of immigration processes. 3 years on, the illicit issuance of Liberian diplomatic passport remains a menace the country is grappling with. Front Page Africa has again obtained another batch of diplomatic passport issued to foreigners as recently as August 2023. The British national Patrick John McAferry received the Liberian diplomatic passport number DP000800. This passport was issued on August 11, 2023, and his occupation is listed as Special Envoy, Government of Liberia. Stephen Ochina Nikihara, a Kenyan national who is believed to be a contact person between the Liberian syndicate and the foreigners wanting Liberian diplomatic passport, also obtained a diplomatic passport in January 2022. From Page Africa has several photos of Stephen with Vice President Joel Howard Taylor, while his Liberian diplomatic passport lists him as a special envoy working with the Liberian Investment Commission. It is not clear what role he is performing for the commission. Yancy Ajavari, a Turkish national, also carries the Liberian diplomatic passport number DP002945, and he is listed as a diplomat under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Another British national, David Barry, carries a Liberian diplomatic passport DP002508 and is listed as honorary consul in Athens, Greece. His passport was issued in January 2022. Denis Kovotsik, a Korean, carries the title Business Consultant, National Investment Commission in his Liberian diplomatic passport, while he is said to be a Korean on the Liberian diplomatic passport. Sources inform Front Page Africa Kozivia is a Russian by national and is believed to be involved with armed trade for Russia. Front Page Africa has, however, not been able to verify this information. Again, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been mourned over the matter despite efforts made to get comments. However, sources familiar with the recent issues have disclosed to Front Page Africa that certain officials of the Congress of Democratic Change and influential citizen lawmakers have been collaborating with senior officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and various government ministries and agencies to facilitate the issuance of diplomatic passports to foreign individuals in exchange for payment ranging from $200,000 US to $350,000 US for a passport. We move over to another headline. Liberia's Lone Star delegation departs for Morocco for final AFCON qualifier. A Liberian delegation of officials and local players has departed from the country for Monrovia to honor their final African Cup of Nations qualifier against Atlas Lions of Morocco. Liberia, although with the remotest chance of qualifying from their group, will be playing for pride and a record as they sit at the bottom of a group that compromises Morocco and South Africa. The Lone Star Eye at the bottom of the group will face the Atlas Lions on September 9 away from home. The Liberian side secured only 1 point from the game following a draw away from the home to South Africa and defeats at home to Morocco and South Africa. According to the Liberian delegations, Ansu Keita led the country on the morning on September 6, 2023, Wednesday. The members of the delegation are as follow: head coach Ansu Keita, assistant coach Kopo Sanan, trainer Josh Grobro, goalkeeper trainer Nathaniel Sherman, team doctor Toso Jalaba, administrative manager Sebastian Collins, kit manager Tony Johnson, Ibrahim Kaba, from their various bases. Addressing the media before the team departure, Lone Star coach Ansu Keita said he is aware that Liberia doesn't have a chance of qualifying for the National Cup. However, his team will give a good account of themselves against Morocco. The game will be a very tough one, but we are prepared for it because it is very important game for us, Keita told the media. Keita said the Morocco game will be used to integrate players into the style of play and identify players he wants to use in the World Cup qualifiers. We are not going to Morocco just for traveling. I can assure you we are going to play. We are not afraid of the name Morocco. We will face them and we will wait for the result of the game. We are going for a football result, which is either win or loss or draw, and we are going to perform and will do everything to bring up a surprise in Morocco. Onside coach, sorry. He said the players selected for the match were choosing based on what he wants for the players and his plan for each game. According to the Lone Star coach, those selected for the game against Morocco were chosen independently because he and his technical staff feel they can deliver for the Liberian people. The Lone Star coach disclosed that several players were invited for the clash in North Africa have pulled out of the team due to various reasons. This brings us to a close of the Front Page Africa newspaper. Back to you, Mo, for the continuations of local news on this network.
Okay, so thank you so much, Lyndon. Thank you so much. All right, so that was the voice of K. Lyndon Topa. He brought stories from Pitch Africa. So now our next stop going to be the hot pepper newspaper. CBL rejects allegation of unauthorized withdrawal from the bank. CBL rejects allegation of unauthorized withdrawal from the bank. This is an interesting story. So if you are watching us via our Facebook and YouTube page, we encourage you to go and get yourself a copy of the hot pepper newspaper to know why CBL rejects allegation of unauthorized withdrawal from the bank. The Board of Governors and Management of the Central Bank of Liberia, or CBL, has refuted a Spoon Live talk show claim on August 31, 2023, alleging unauthorized withdrawals of funds from the CBL. The CBL rejected the allegation as untrue and outlined steps in the encashment of checks as part of its procedures, processes, and controls to avert unauthorized disbursement, ensures the availability of funds, verified signature, seeks confirmation from issuers, approval of authorized signature, and encashment of cash. Given these steps, under no condition or circumstances can a single individual authorize the encashment of checks or withdrawal of any funds outside the aforementioned procedures, CBL management said in a statement. Secondly, the bank is apolitical and does not subscribe to the abnormal practices as insinuated by the Spoon Talk Show. CBL therefore condemns the allegations spirited out as they have no iota of truth. and are part of a grand design orchestrated to bring the CBL into public disrepute. The CBL once again assured the Liberian people of its unflinching commitment to building a strong and credible financial statement. The statement continued. Okay, so that was the story on the hot pepper newspaper. So we encourage you to go and get yourself a copy of the hot pepper newspaper. And we move back to Lyndon K. Topa to bring us something from the international news ABC, precisely the ABC. And then from there, I will also bring something from VOA Africa and that of BBC Africa. There are a lot of trending news on BBC Africa and that of VOA Africa. So you can take it from there.
All right, okay. Thank you, Chief, for your coordination on this platform. City rescues from Korea Sea after multiple shark attack damage inflatable catamaran. Officials reminded citizens always carry a distress beacon while underwater. Three people were rescued from the Korea Sea after multiple shark attack damaged the catamaran, following an alert from a Russian registered emergency position indicating radio beacon. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority responded to the distress call early Wednesday morning at around 1:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. The beacon came from a 9 meter feet inflatable catamaran with three people on board, two Russian citizens and one French citizen. The sailing party had departed from Vanuatu in the South Pacific and was traveling to Cairns on coastal cities in Queensland, Australia. While details are slim, the stranded people were in the catamaran 835 kilometer 519 miles off the coast of the Caribbeans in the Korea Sea. Per the Asman, both hulls of the catamaran have been damaged following several shark attacks. The AMSA confirmed in a release. After receiving a beacon signals, AFMAT, a current-based Talento rescue aircraft to the catamaran's locations and secured the systems of the Dugrian as a vehicle carrier sailing after a Panama flight. Three people were rescued and are expected to arrive in Brisbane, Australia on Thursday morning. No further information was immediately available. This brings us to a close and back to you, Mo, for the continuation of international news as always on this platform.
Okay, so thank you very much. From the from VOA Africa, Niger prepares for weekend anti-French protest. That is, there is something trending in Niger where the president has been ousted. So protesters in Niger. So the story is Niger prepares for weekend anti-French protest. The protest organized by the M62 grouping are set to take place in central Niamey, Niger's capital, where demonstrators will demand the departure of the French contingent amid soaring relations between the nation's new military rulers and France, a colonial ruler and traditional ally. The M62 group has received support from the Patriotic Front for the Sovereignty of Niger, another civil society group calling for a permanent sit-in. Organizers of the protest said demonstration will commence Saturday and will continue until the departure of the French soldiers. France has approximately 1,500 troops stationed at the air base near Niamey, whose mandate is to fight hijabist insurgency. Relations between the West African nation and its former colonial ruler have deteriorated since President Mohamed Bazoum, a close ally to President Emmanuel Macron, was stopped into a coup on July 26. Paris has stood by Bazoum and refused to reorganize the new rulers in the troubled Sahel states. So that is it for VOA Africa, and the next stop going to be BBC Africa. Let's see what do we have here for BBC Africa. Viewers, please bear with me a little bit. Please bear with us a little bit. Please bear with us a little bit. Please bear with us.
Why you are making efforts to get the story? I don't know why. Africa is just surrounded by coup d'etat, coup d'etat, coup d'etat, coup d'etat. Isn't that we Africans are not mature to handle our own our own issue, our own internal issues, we have to rely on the international community to provide assistance to us.
Yeah, it seems to be like it seems to be.
So if we want to practice these issues of democracies, I think we need to.
Right.
Okay, are you there now?
Um. Yeah. Yeah. So one of the stories here we have BBC Africa is East African forces extend DR Congo state despite protests. It seems to be like DR Congo wanted to send troops in neighboring country. Maybe
In
that could
Niger?
be Niger,
Yeah,
but
because
yeah,
there has been so many things
yeah,
about our Air
East,
Force wanting to use force to
yeah,
be able
yeah,
to reinstate
yeah.
Mohammed Bourgeois.
Mhm. So let's read this. No, DR Congo is in East Africa, so that is Gabon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gabon.
so
Gabon, Gabon.
So East African heads of states on Tuesday unanimously agreed to extend the deployment of regional military forces in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo by extension. Okay, they also make reference to Gabon. The decision happens a week after DR Congo military officials killed 43 and arrested 168 protesters who were demanding the withdrawals of East African troops and the United Nations peacekeeping mission from the troubling Eastern DR Congo and Gabon. The mandate of the regional force was to end on 8 September, but the extension means that the troops will remain in the Eastern DR Congo for an additional 3 months until the 8th of December. The East African Community Bloc made the announcement on Tuesday following a summit by the region's head of states in Kenya capital Nairobi. The meeting was attended by the DR Congo Prime Minister Sama Lukondi, Uganda's Minister of Eastern African Communities Affairs Rebecca Kadaga, and the presidents of Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan. The leader said that they took note of the operational milestones achieved by the EAC regional force towards restoration of security in East Africa. The region force was deployed to eastern DR Congo in November 2022 to aid the response of the DRC Congo military against armed rebel groups in the eastern part of the country. So that's what we have there for BBC Africa. So far so good. That is what we have there for BBC Africa. To all of our viewers who've been watching us, that is uh, we just read all of the news from various media outlets in our country and outside of Liberia, where we brought stories from BBC Africa and also story from ABC News, story from VOA Africa. So um, I think it's okay that we place a spotlight on some of these things. So it's going to be very much prudent enough that we place our own analysis or we make some analysis on issues that brought us around the newsmakers, those who make the news. What are those things that were shared? All of those things that have been shared in the newspaper, in and outside of our country. So we will do this as a regular routine, what our colleagues normally do on this platform. Viewers recognition, we will recognize our viewers, those who've been following us throughout the program. We have Honorable Josh Watkins Jr. Good morning, everyone. I'm following live from a comfort zone in district number 13, Monsirado County, Liberia. Honorable Andy Bubla Jala, good morning. Ambassador Marco from Kanneh, Nehemiah Damakuma, good morning, comrades. S. Emostama, good morning, for Island TV, following from my ABJ Foundation office in Topo Village. Thanks for the update. Thank you so much. Kaylin and Topa, following. Mutalu M. Kanneh, I'm following from a Fresh TV office. That's good. Um, Under Bubla Jala, a diplomatic passport is the property of the office of the president. Only his office approves the book to anyone to assure by the departure of visas and the passport of the MFA. So the president's office is the only one who needs to tell the public how these people got the book. So that is it for all of those who following us. We acknowledge you for taking your time to follow us on our platform, and we encourage you to share our video so it can reach so the video can reach to many people as it can. So, Lino, I think we will have to make few analysis, or maybe we have to make our own thoughts. We have to have a little talk about some of these things that were shared on other media outlets. So, maybe for you, what do you think we can make us stop at about this time?
Well, I think from the story from the front page Africa, let's try to educate our people. I know by conscientizing them on the importance of our passport. Whenever you hear our passport is involved or is in the hands, our diplomatic passport for that mean. Our diplomatic passport is a passport that should be widely respected, and it should only be into the hands of Liberians diplomats. We shouldn't trade our diplomatic passports on the basis because we want to have something in return. Because whatever the person does, it actually implicate our country. So, like the CEO rightly said, the diplomatic passport is a property that is meant to be associated with the office of the president. So the president should be, the president should be in the know. If I talk about the president, I mean all of those people the presidents appointed into this position. They should be in the know of who they gave our diplomatic passport to. Mind you, from the story I was reading, our diplomatic passport is in the hand of a Russian. And Front Page Africa has conducted their own investigation, and their investigation has unearthed that this Russian national is involved into the trading of weapons. You understand? So you see the kind of repercussion it is actually causing for Liberia. You understand? So we need to try to rethink and reshape the dynamics. For every time you hear our passport is involved into this other saga, our diplomatic passport is involved into the other saga, it doesn't offer well for we as Liberian people. So I don't know, but perhaps you have your own opposite view, and that may show our relations to my view.
Yeah, it is just sad for a country like Liberia where lot of terrible things has been happening in our own country.
Definitely.
Where our passports, the passport of this country, more precisely, diplomatic passport should be given to the Liberian diplomat, as you regularly stated.
Yeah.
And the issue about passport in this country, diplomatic passport being given to foreigner, I think this is something that the ruling establishment is struggling to see how best they can resolve this. Maybe they might not get rid of it 100%, but I think at the minimum rate it should be like 90 or 95%, where it is not something to be seen easily. It should not be something to be here or in the public or around the place. I'm not saying they should go ahead and do it to minimize it. No, we should not give space. There should be no space of foreigners getting our diplomatic passport, because that does not send a good signal to people who are diplomats in this country. It is not something good for our country diplomatic passport to just be given to anybody. Only because we need $1 or $2 for our personal use. This money, some of those money the people receive, they do not give this money to the Liberia Revenue Authority, because if you go to the passport department, you have to pass through all of the processes.
Yeah, it is already fraudulent. So there are people at the foreign ministries who are doing those things.
So I think this should also call the attention of Foreign Minister Dimasha Kimia. It should serve as a serious embarrassment to Dimasha Kimia. Mr. Kimia, if you are not worried about this thing, if you have not been worried about a lot of things been happening in this country, I think this is something that should draw your concern. You should be worried about it. You should be seeing how best to resolve this situation, because for the past 2-3 years, that Foreign Affairs Ministry has been in the news for the wrong reason. It came a time where you and some of your colleagues at the foreign ministries were not in a good rapport. Some of you people were not speaking to each other. It came in the media.
You have been following that particular issue very closely. Yeah,
that information came in the media, and then people try to find all kinds of means to put a spin around it so that it should not escalate in the public. So, Minister Kimia, you have to put your feet down. you will have to come out and see how best that situation can be resolved. You cannot desecrate, in the words of former information minister Louis Brown, you cannot desecrate the foreign ministry. You cannot desecrate the values of the Liberia diplomatic passport. So Minister Kemenya, you have to come down, you have to step down very hard on those who are doing these things.
One of the things that I want for people who are serving in government position to realize is that serving in government position is
It's a privilege.
It is a privilege.
It is not a
It's
right.
not a right given to
Yes.
you. Because
So,
there are lots of competent Liberians who can
Definitely.
serve in similar capacity
Sure.
you are serving. So the president goes to work and he prefer you to serve. And I think you need to be very proactive. You need to do everything possible to bring glory to the president and the nation.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
whatever you do, posterity,
Gonna
posterity
judge
will
you.
definitely judge you. Do you want to endure an experience after you shall have left power, then people be pointing at you or like this Mazwe Kimia.
Yeah.
This Mazwe Kimia was serving as foreign affairs ministers. Our passport was never respected because our passport was consistently involved, our diplomatic passport was consistently involved into a series of fraud activities.
Yeah, some of these things at times people in the international circle don't even want to give Liberia a regard. Doesn't even look at us.
Yeah.
Because if some of these things start to happen by this time where passports has been given to foreigners, not just ordinary passport but diplomatic passport, people who are not serving diplomatic position in our country.
That could be one of the reasons why, because initially, this TV program that many Liberians normally play, you understand?
Mhm.
And because our passport was consistently involved into these malpractices and into this fraudulent act, so
Yeah.
people said, let us just remove this passport issue and let Liberians have the access. You understand?
Mhm.
I thought initially the people said that yes, indeed, Liberia has a proven record of being able to maintain their own sovereignty
Yeah.
through the protections of their passport. But again, we flip side from the very from the very respect that was given to our passport, and we start to offer our passport to what? Foreign nationals who are not even diplomats of Liberia, who do not even have any link or any national or heritage with our country. You understand?
This is it is actually wrong. We should not encourage that, and those at the foreign ministry should not be creating room for such thing to be happening in the foreign ministry. So I think we can move to the Lone Star because they depart the country on yesterday for Morocco AFCON qualifier. That's why we have our Scottish Mayor Eric Palo Collins.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we will be looking up to Eric Palo Collins to come up with lot of information as it relates to the game Liberia is going against Morocco.
Yeah, Eric yeah. Speaking of Eric was there on yesterday.
Yeah.
Even before they departed the country on yesterday, they had a press conference. Like I'm being told by I'm not a
fanatic,
and but I was told that that is the protocol. Whenever you have a very big game, before you leave, you have a press conference to update the public as what is unfolding and what do you think. What is your expectation and what is your optimisms before you leave the country?
Yeah, so we wish the Red, White, and Blue boys
Definitely,
victory.
we wish them victory.
Yeah,
And we wish them victory.
we wish them victory.
Yeah, because we cannot we cannot consider ourselves we cannot consider ourselves as fanatics of sport. That we are wishing for the worst of our country, Liberia. So we just have to we just have to do everything to promote our country, Liberia, because this is the only country we have.
Definitely so. That is the Liberia national team going. We are into the AFCON qualifier in Morocco, where Liberia are going to be.
But looking at the sense looking at the ascendances of Coach Ansu Keita, do you think there has been some remarkable gains made under his administration?
I think yes. I want to say that we have been doing well in terms of soccer. Despite I don't really follow the Liberia national team. I've not really been following for the past years. I've not really been following. Most time I pay more attention on on the Liberia national team is maybe I think for the past 2 years I've not really been focused on the Liberia national team.
Yeah, you are just been on your politics.
Yeah. So, but on a clear note, we wish the Lone Star of Liberia a success.
Mhm.
That is the Lone Star where we saw the likes of James Salis Sadiba, Ketu Smith, or William Jebo, not William Jebo, but George Jibo, the current senator of I think Riwaji County, Bocha Sumwe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the current president of the Republic of Liberia, Josh Mano, we wish them victory. We wish the Liberia national team victory. You know, that is the color of the flag few years ago, decades ago, the flag that color all around the continent of Africa and even by extension the world at large.
One of the accolade that I would want to give to Coach Ansu Keita, even though I'm not very familiar with sport, is the fact that Ansu Keita has been marking the president to ensure that uh, there can be at least respected ties to sporting activities in Liberia. You will notice that there have been series of sport activity that has been constructed under this government, which of course I want to believe most of these activity were influenced by Coach Ansu Keita and that of the Minister of Youth and Sports.
Yeah, Coach Ansu Keita has been doing well. Rosing from under, I think he was the coach for I think the under 20 or one of the junior teams in the country, and then to come from that position and then ascend to the senior national team is a boost for him. And I think all other coaches who stay at that level, they should see that also as a source of encouragement.
Yeah, that definitely.
Yeah, so that this could be
if Ansu can,
Ansu can leave from the local level and then ascend to the national team, you too can be the same, or you can go more than that. So we hope that other coaches who are stay at that level can learn from whatsoever thing Coach Ansu Keita is doing on the national team, and then they can come up with the necessary changes that should be made. So Lyndon, we are a bit pressed up with time.
Yeah.
We gone 2 minutes plus at a time. That would of course we should have end the show by 10:45, but now we're going 10:48. So maybe you have something else to say because we get.
Yeah, like we always do on this platform.
So maybe you will want to have a chit. Maybe you will want to come up with a chit chat concerning tomorrow event where the CDC going to be doing her grand launch.
Oh yeah.
So
that is that is one of the most talked about activity in the country.
So maybe we can just zero on that.
Yeah. Let's try to sweep the Pentagon on that so that we can. The CDC is about to embark upon the campaign launch on tomorrow.
Yeah.
They are anticipating that the entire Monrovia will be locked down tomorrow. But we as media practitioners, we will be there doing our independent analysis and there to provide live coverage to see how proactive, how unique mobilization strategy has been, and over the last days, in reflections of this activity.
Yeah, so that is it, and I think today the United Party will also be in district number 7, and they will zero at I think district number 16, where that should be the Nuclear Town belt.
Yeah, but one of the things that I very wish to actually take a look at the number of people that we actually welcome or give former Vice President Joseph Blackard a reception welcome, because from the past history you will notice that district number 7 has been the ground of has been politically controlled by
by the
ruling establishment. So I wait to see what our Blackard will have the regular massive reception he normally receive.
Yeah, so we our eyes will be up Crown Hill later today, by the afternoon to the evening hour. Our eyes will be there, and we are opting of placing our camera there also to bring a live coverage from there.
Definitely.
And like what you said, we hope to see what are the numbers going to come outside from that side of the country. To be precise, district number 7. Let's see what's going to happen there today at about the afternoon or the evening hour. But like what you said on tomorrow event, that would of course it promises to be a very jubilant occasion for the guys from the CDC. It promises to be an occasion where the CDC going to be flexing their muscles. Where I want to believe that is the event they're going to be using to send a clear message out to those who in the opposition that this is the CDC that we created. This is the CDC we crafted 2025, 2011, 2017, and this is the same CDC we have crafted, and you're going to see in 2023. And one major question is the number that's going to be out there tomorrow. Whether that number going to reflect or going to have a positive impact on the ruling establishment, to be precise, whether that number going to give them a re-election, whether that number going to send a very strong and towering message to those in the opposition.
Normally when people gather at a political jamboree, they do it for several other reasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do it because there has been rumors that the government has become very unpopular over the last 5.5 years.
Yeah.
So if tomorrow, as per what we will observe from tomorrow, if there is a massive turnout, I think it will partly erase, it will partly erase some of the rumors that has been in the public that the government is unpopular over the last 5.5 years of being in power. So another thing it would do is that, I have been observing in most of these instances, people attending political jamboree, one of the fundamental instruments that qualify them to exercise their franchise in favor of that party is what the travel way.
Yeah.
Some of them will be showing their ID card and saying, ID card, and in the process, some of them, even before the day of casting their votes, they will have their ID card will be in missing action.
Yeah.
I think we need to conscientize people. You don't necessarily have to carry your ID card to those rallies.
Sure.
You just have to secure your ID card in a very unique area so that when it is October 10th, you can be able to cast your vote in favor of whosoever you want to.
Sure, exactly. So we just have to wrap up because we if we don't do so, we might likely go up to 11 o'clock. So just to take something from you within 1 minute 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'll tomorrow the exuberance of the party headquarters. I want to believe that it is very, very high, and those citizens who are now very, very in high gear to ensure that they can be able to have a massive turnout. But I want to encourage them to be very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
Like their party executive members have always told them to demonstrate the issues of peace and do away with violence. And I am using this platform to amplify my voice in the wake of calling for peace also. So that is it.
All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lyndon Topa. So, folks, that was the voice of the co-presenter here today, where I've been serving as the presenter. I've been sitting in the lead host seat. Gregphina she's not here. She went on other obligation in the name of Foka on TV. So we thought it was to chip in for her. So that is it. Before you see this face on the camera, you're going to be tomorrow with the program Inside District number 13. So before you see this face on Focal on TV, you're going to be tomorrow on the program Inside District number 13. I'm not going to be here tomorrow on the program Inside the Print Media. You're going to see the regular faces here on Inside the Print Media on tomorrow. So that is it. All right. All right, so that is it. That is the voice of Sis Meta Fambula. She's a historical leader. Very, very, very historical leader.
Come and save your child.
All right. So this is how we like to take a leave of you. And then tomorrow we're going to be here with another fresh edition of the program inside the print media with Gregphina correspond. She loves to be called Gregphina, or you can just call her Courage. That is the lone female in our circle. That is the lone female here. We hope to bring another female in the soonest possible time. As we go to the pool on October 10th of this year, we love to say to Liberians who will be going to the pool to elect the new breed of leaders. Govern yourself. Govern yourself appropriately. Do not allow politicians to misuse you. Do not allow politicians to allow you to use invectives against those who you're going to be regretting after you have used all of the invectives against these people. All right, this is our time. The times of those who were the representative senators. They were using us. They castigated us. This is our time to respond to them in a very peaceful manner. This is the time we have to respond to them to the ballot box. If you don't want this person, if you do not want to retain Mr. X, Y, and Z, you can go to the ballot box. If you do not want to retain certain people, you can go to the ballot box and reflect that whether you have a disagreement with these people, you can go to the ballot box and do these things. So that is it. We're going to be back here tomorrow with another fresh edition of the program inside the print media with Gregphina correspond and Linda Tuban. Better still, my name is Mohammed Kanneh, but you can call me Mo. Just call me Mo, or you call me Mo Kanneh. That is the name I prefer the people to call me. Just call me Mo. So that is it. On this note, this is how I like to take my ex to the RT, and then we're gonna be here next. And then we're gonna be here on tomorrow. But better still, we will be at the headquarters of the Unity Party, where we're gonna be bringing you live coverage of former Vice President Joseph Newman Boyka visit to District number 7 and that of District number 16. We're going to bring all of the major happening there as it unfolds. So bye-bye from my end.